So if you have a LPB or an F1 from Cape Falcon Kayaks, you do not need to measure your kayak. The standard size that Brian and I have come up with is dialed in for your kayak, and I would say pretty much anything except for the very widest, very largest volume and the very smallest volume of the F1. The bags that you will get, the standard ones, will fit perfectly and suit you really well. If you have one of the kayaks on the extreme ends of the volume sizes and options, then yeah, let's do some measurements for it and put those down on the product page, and you will and then we'll get more specific for your boat. If you have a kayak from someone else, one of the other several designers out there, or you've come up with some modifications yourself to shorten or extend the kayak, then you can use these measurements, and so give them to me, and I will make it so that the bags are perfectly fit for your kayak. So having said that, let's show you how to measure the bow of the kayak. And the bag for the bow is it's dependent. Well, first of all, of course, it doesn't go, as I already said, depending on how I edit this video, the bow doesn't go to, the bag doesn't reach the end of the bow. That's of course because you have your boards and all of your stringers and everything come together there, and it can't physically go in there. So instead of measuring from the end of the boat, we're going to measure to where we know the bag is going to be able to reach, and that's where the boat is. The kayak's 6 inches wide, and if you've seen Brian's video showing him demonstrating putting the bags inside of an F1 frame, you'll see that it fits up there really nicely. And so the way that's measured is at 6 inches across. Wherever the kayak is 6 inches across, that's where you want to start your measurement. So I'll do like this, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to bend it over like that, because that's going to give too large a measurement. You want it to be just straight across. And so with that, I can just kind of look here, look straight down the edge and see that right about there is pretty good. And then I'm going to take and measure from there to the point where the farthest point I know my foot pegs will go. And I know that in my kayak right here, if I reach around side, I can feel them. And then I poke up into the skin, and I can see that it's right here at the farthest, the starting line here is where I need to measure to. So I'm just going to measure from there over to the tape. And so for mine, it would be just about exactly 5 feet, okay? And so if yours is, so this is how you're going to measure the bow. You go 6 inches across, put a tape or something else to mark it, and then measure to where you're going to have the farthest point for your feet. Because we don't want the bag to push in past your feet, and we don't want it to be shorter than that, of course, because we want to keep as much water out as possible. All right, next let's do the combing. Then the next measurement is going to be for the width of the kayak. And to keep it simple, all you're going to do is measure straight across in the center of your combing here. So we're just going to measure straight across like this. Kind of use your hand to make it straight, or you can get fancy with it, but pretty much is pretty good if you get your hand flush there at the edge, and you can see the tape measure meets there. And then I'm looking straight down here and see that my kayak is 22.5 inches wide. You don't want to go like this, because if you bend it, then that's going to make it wider than what you need to. So with that measurement, I will know how to, I will make adjustments for it, where the bags actually fit. If it's designed like this, my kayak here, my LPB, this measurement here and this measurement here are basically the same. And in the bow, it gets a tiny bit narrower, but you're also increasing the depth of the kayak, so that takes up for that little bit of different space. The float bag is going to fill because of course it'll expand in any direction as it's being blown up. So what we do is measure out here to where it's 6 inches or 150 millimeters, or 15 centimeters wide, right? So that would be right here on this boat. And then you're going to go for the stern straight to the back of the cockpit combing and measure just to right here, okay, right to where that mark is. And that way, this is where your float bag will end. And then, of course, right here, as far as the float part of it, the storage part, the roll closure will extend out past there. Then you're going to roll that down so that it's back here. But the float part, the float chamber will end right here if you do this measurement like this. The other thing that also, if you have a Greenland kayak, then you're not going to have a roll closure, of course. It's just going to be ending flush with there.